Hold on to your wigs and grab the popcorn, because what just leaked from the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta might actually be the most chaotic moment in reality TV history, and yes, that's saying something. Ever wondered what happens when loyalty gets auctioned off for clout, and friendships turn faker than a rented Birkin? Well, buckle up, because this time, it's personal, real personal. Yandy Smith, the queen of calculated composure, just stormed off set in. We're not talking a cute little strut with a side eye, no. Sis slammed doors, threw shade, and cut ties, all while cameras rolled. And guess who triggered the meltdown? None other than Rasheeda. I play both sets, Frost, who shockingly linked arms with Jessica Dime, in what fans are calling the ultimate betrayal alliance. What really happened behind the velvet-draped scenes? Why is Rasheeda jumping ship and leaving Yandy out to dry like a Fashion Nova return haul? And did Jessica Dime really throw hands, or was it just another high-heeled hustle for attention? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear is messy, petty, and possibly the most delicious disaster ever served on cable TV. Let's dive in. The cameras were rolling, the mimosas were flowing, and the wigs were freshly secured. But what was supposed to be a light-hearted brunch among castmates turned into the most explosive betrayal VH1's ever tried to quietly edit down. And yes, we're talking about Yandy Smith's a poised queen bee of Love and Hip Hop getting played so hard she left the set mid-scene, heels echoing down the hallway like a funeral march. Word on the street is that Rasheeda Frost, the peacemaker of the franchise, didn't just stand by while chaos brewed. She stirred the pot and handed Jessica Dime the damn spoon. Yandy and Rasheeda have shared years of sisterhood, alliances, and side-eye sessions. But none of that mattered when Rasheeda decided to cozy up with Jessica, the same woman who's been side-eyeing Yandy from across the glam chair for multiple seasons. But let's rewind to how this drama-list dinner party even came to be. Producers were desperate for a scene that would shake things up. And what better way to stir the pot than locking a table full of unresolved beef in one candlelit room and pressing record? Yandy walked in dressed like she was ready for peace talks at the United Nations neutral colors, soft curls, a hint of forgiveness in her smile. But the moment she clocked Jessica at the head of the table, legs crossed and wine glass raised like she owned the place, you could see Yandy's face twitch just slightly, and that's when you knew. Rasheeda walked in right behind, flashing teeth and giving hugs, pretending not to feel the storm cloud already forming over that dinner table. Jessica was already armed with shade, throwing a toast out the minute Yandy sat down. To those who wear fake crowns and call it royalty, she said, clinking glasses like the line wasn't aimed directly at the woman across from her. The air went thick. Yandy raised her glass with the same grace she always uses when she's about to professionally eviscerate someone and said, "To the ones who talk loud because they're resumed docenti." Boom. The table jolted and Rasheeda did nothing. Quick intervention. No change of subject. Not even a side hug to soften the blow. She just sipped her drink like it was tea and watched her two co-stars circle each other like lions in a Versace jungle. The appetizers arrived, but no one ate. Jessica went in again, this time dragging Yandy's reputation through the mud, calling her fake, controlling, manipulative, and let's just say she didn't hold back. What did Rasheeda do? She nodded. She nodded. That tiny gesture cracked Yandy's composure right down the middle. You could see it, the flicker in her eye, the way her hand curled slightly around the stem of her glass. She tried to keep it together, but the betrayal was crawling under her skin. "Oh, so now we're just okay with snakes at the table?" Yandy asked, not even blinking. Jessica smirked and leaned forward. "Girl, I didn't come here to be liked. I came here to be real. You should try it sometime." At this point, the crew didn't even bother pretending this was a peaceful brunch. Producers gave a nod and let the cameras roll. No one cut the scene, no one stepped in. The volume rose, voices layered over each other, and the room went full chaos. Jessica stood, pointing fingers. Yandy got up right behind her. Chairs scraped, napkins flew, and wine spilled like blood in a gladiator ring. Rasheeda stood up, but not to calm things down. Instead, she delivered the final gut punch. "Yandy, maybe it's time you look in the mirror and stop acting like the victim every time someone calls you out." And just like that, Yandy's face fell. She blinked like she couldn't believe what she just heard. "You too," she whispered, voice cracking not from weakness but pure disbelief. And Rasheeda didn't even deny it. She just stood there, arms crossed, looking like she'd rehearsed the betrayal in the mirror before the shoot. Jessica, sensing victory, added one more dig. "Your little queen act is tired, baby. And nobody's buying it anymore. That was it. The moment Yandy clutched her purse, turned away from the table, and walked. Not stomped, not stormed, walked with the kind of slow, surgical precision only a woman completely done can achieve. The entire cast sat frozen. Even Bambi, who's seen more fights than a UFC referee, looked shook. Erica turned to Scrappy and whispered, "This ain't over." And Scrappy didn't even nod. He just stared straight ahead like he just witnessed a car crash. The cameras followed Yandy out of the building, past stunned crew members, past producers pretending to be shocked, and into the hallway where she finally stopped, leaned against the wall, and let the tears fall. Her phone buzzed. Then buzzed again. Cast members, producers, the network. She ignored them all. Inside the set, Rasheeda suddenly didn't look so sure of her choices. Jessica's grin was wide, but her eyes, twitching, because here's the twist, this wasn't a scripted blow-up. This was real. The pain, the betrayal, the silence. It wasn't acting, it was raw. And it was about to get messier because producers weren't just going to let this gold slip through their hands. Word is, a leaked voice memo exists. A memo that proves Jessica planned this entire takedown, and someone leaked it to the crew. And guess who they think it came from? Yeah, Rasheeda. Because when it comes to reality TV, everyone's got a secret hand in this case. The crown might not just slip, it might fall straight into the fire. Word is, a leaked voice memo exists. A memo that proves Jessica Dime didn't just show up at that brunch with shade in her clutch, she came with a full-blown hit list. And the wildest part, that memo didn't just mysteriously appear in a group chat or surface on some fan blog. No, this voice memo allegedly made its way directly into the hands of producers' anonymous drop. Untraceable, but oh so conveniently timed just hours after Yandy's warm-off, and while no one's pointing fingers officially, all eyes are squinting in one direction, Rasheeda, because let's be real, who else would benefit from throwing Jessica under the bus now that the backlash is brewing? Fans are already calling the moment Brunchgate, and it's spiraling fast. Clips from the set are leaking. Jump cuts of Rasheeda nodding as Jessica calls Yandy a fraud. Freeze frames of Yandy's broken expression, voiceovers overlaying dramatic violins and conspiracy breakdowns. Twitter is on fire. Reddit is connecting dots that weren't even there. And Instagram pages are posting side-by-side screenshots like they work for the FBI. The leaked voice memo allegedly captures Jessica practicing her shady one-liners in a dressing room, saying, and I quote, "She thinks she's untouchable. Watch me knock that tiara off her head and make her beg to stay on this show." Now if that doesn't sound premeditated, then I don't know what does. And just to make this mess stickier, there's background laughter in that clip. Female. Familiar. And it doesn't sound like Jessica's assistant or makeup artist. Fans are convinced, absolutely convinced, that it's Rasheeda's voice in the background laughing like she just watched her favorite villain win the game. But when confronted about it in her green room, Rasheeda looked stunned, denied everything, and asked the crew if she could take 5. Except instead of taking 5, she locked the door and made a phone call that sources say lasted 12 minutes and ended with her slamming her phone down and refusing to film for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, Jessica is doing what she does best, smirking in the confessional, throwing glitter and grenades at the same time. When asked about the voice memo, she laughed and said, "Honey, if I wanted to plot, I'd do it better than that. Trust me." But her eyes twitched. Real ones saw it. The pressure is getting worser, and behind the scenes, the executive producers are rubbing their hands like cartoon villains because this drama just guaranteed another season, maybe 2. But the fans aren't playing. Team Yandy stans are out for blood, reposting videos, tagging Rasheeda in betrayal montages, comparing her to Brutus from Shakespeare, and calling Jessica everything from a fake friend to a professional snake with a flat iron. And let's not even talk about the memes Yandy storm off in slow motion with dramatic violins. Rasheeda holding 2 masks like she's auditioning for a Tyler Perry villain role, and Jessica photoshopped onto the Game of Thrones Iron Throne. It's chaos. Beautiful, messy, monetizable chaos. But here's where it gets spicy. VH1's legal department allegedly stepped in. According to a source close to production, there's now an internal investigation into how the voice memo got leaked. Why? Because it included not just on-set plotting, but references to contract clauses, money arrangements, and a potential plan to get Yandy written off the season. Yes, you heard that right. Allegedly, Jessica and Rasheeda were scheming to have Yandy painted as the toxic diva of the Season 2 shift power dynamics in the cast. That kind of manipulation. That's not just messy, it's dangerous. And Yandy, smart as ever, isn't staying silent. While she hasn't made a formal statement yet, her team has allegedly been compiling receipts. Real ones, emails, texts, and voice notes. There's even talk of her considering a defamation lawsuit if the leaks continue. And baby, if that happens, not only will heads roll, but someone's glittery empire is going to collapse on national television. Meanwhile, Rasheeda is reportedly spiraling. Close friends say she's been deeply emotional and conflicted. And sources even claim she tried to apologize to Yandy via a handwritten letter delivered through a producer. But Yandy didn't respond. Cold, clean, iconic. Jessica, on the other hand, is doubling down. Posting Instagram stories with captions like "Real Queens Don't Cry," posing with snakeskin boots, and playing Nicki Minaj lyrics in the background like she's staging a villain origin story. And fans, they're eating it up. Half of them are screaming Queen Dime energy, while the other half are posting Yandy deserved better slideshows to sad R&B music. And the cast, quiet, too quiet. Bambi, Erica, even Carly Red have gone radio silent, like they're all waiting to see which way the drama wind blows before they choose sides. But it doesn't stop there. The fallout is spilling into contracts. Sources say advertisers are nervous. The network is scrambling to figure out how to cut the footage without crossing legal lines. And there's a whisper that the reunion episode may have to be rescheduled because Yandy is refusing to be in the same room with Rasheeda or Jessica unless security is present and cameras are fully rolling. That's right. She's not just demanding protection, she wants every second documented. If that's not a power move, I don't know what is. And while we're on the topic of damage control, let's talk about what went down the morning after. Jessica showed up to set with a brand new glam squad, looking like she just signed a new villain contract. She walked in like she owned the place, blowing air kisses to producers, ignoring the whispers. Rasheeda showed up late, sunglasses on indoors, no makeup, no smiles, just a hoodie and regret. And Yandy, she didn't show up at all. Sent a peep to deliver a statement that read, "My brand doesn't operate in chaos. I'll be back when the air is clear and the snakes are gone." Boom. That line alone trended on Twitter for 4 hours. Fans started printing it on shirts. Memes exploded. And just like that, the woman who supposedly got betrayed, framed, and walked out stole the narrative. Again, the producers are now allegedly considering a one-in-one special where Yandy gets to tell her side without interruption. No Jessica. No Rasheeda, just her, a spotlight, and a big fat check. But even that's not guaranteed to fix the mess, because the biggest twist. Word is, more voice notes exist. Clips where Rasheeda allegedly vents about feeling stuck in Yandy's shadow, and even admits that maybe Jessica was right. If that drops, this situation isn't just going to explode, it's going to take the whole Love and Hip Hop franchise down with it. And yet somehow, this is just the midpoint. Because the real chaos hasn't even aired yet. The reunion, the confessions, the clapbacks they're still loading, and the fans. They're waiting. They're watching. They're watching. And just when you think the fire can't get any hotter, boom, Jessica's live goes viral. Yes, she hits that button on Instagram and starts spilling her truth while sipping from a champagne flute like it's just another Tuesday. But what does she say? Nothing. And everything. She doesn't name names, doesn't confirm the leak, but baby, the smirk on her face does all the talking. Some people just can't handle not being the center of attention, she says. And some of us were born to dominate the screen. Comments fly in. Flames, hearts, snake emojis. Fans are split right down the middle. Team Jessica is praising her as the fearless queen who speaks facts, while Team Yandy is demanding apologies, accountability, and maybe even exile. But the biggest shock, Rasheeda joins the live. Yep, she pops in, face barely visible, voice tight. And what does she say? "Let's not do this on live, Jess." And boom, Jessica ends the stream. Like that? One click, one power move, and the internet loses its mind. Twitter threads erupt. TikTok explicable videos drop every 5 minutes. YouTubers who don't even cover reality TV are suddenly uploading what's really going on with Yandy, Jessica and Rasheeda breakdowns like they're decoding national secrets. But the tension, it's no longer entertainment, it's personal. Behind the scenes, crew members are requesting to switch assignments. Security is beefed up. The set is divided literally. Jessica and Rasheeda get glam in one trailer. Yandy, in another with a "Do Not Disturb" sign taped to the door. Producers are scrambling to finish the remaining scenes, but the energy on set is electric and dangerous. Then, out of nowhere, the network leaks the trailer for the reunion episode. It's only 45 seconds long, but that's all it takes. The opening shot. Yandy walking into the set. Hair laid, heels sharp, eyes locked. The voiceover, this season, betrayal wasn't scripted. And just like that, the countdown begins. But behind the glitter and edits, real tension simmers. Jessica, now fully leaning into her villain arc, is reportedly requesting a private security escort for the reunion. Rasheeda is ducking press interviews, allegedly dealing with backlash from her own fanbase, many of whom feel she lost the very essence of who she used to be. And Yandy is sitting at home, strategizing. Word is, she's prepping her own documentary-style tell-all with footage collected over the last 6 months, private confessional clips, DMS, audio receipts, a full-on exposure, not just on Jessica and Rasheeda, but on the production team itself. Because apparently, she's done playing checkers. She's playing chess. And guess what? She's got backup. Rumor has it that several former cast members have reached out to her yetsies, people who haven't been on air in years, offering support, solidarity, and statements. People are calling it the Yandy Alliance. And it's looking like the final boss move in a war that's just getting started. But here's the catch. The producers, they love this. Every click, every comment, every breakdown fuels the ratings. They're reportedly offering bonus checks for cast members willing to speak from the heart on camera, which is code for explode for the cameras. And some are taking the bait. But not Yandy, not anymore. She's moved beyond the chaos. According to insiders, she's plotting something bigger. A rebrand, a production deal. Maybe even her own show. Meanwhile, Jessica is basking in the glow of controversy, reposting every meme, laughing in every live, and signing endorsement deals like she's the Beyoncé of betrayal. Rasheeda, she's quiet. Too quiet. A source close to her says she's feeling isolated and ashamed, stuck between two women she never meant to hurt. Now watching her brand take hits from both sides, and while fans might forgive her, Yandy might not. At least not yet. Then, in a move that shocks everyone, a press statement drops. Not from VH1, not from Yandy, but from Rasheeda. A handwritten apology scanned and posted to her Instagram, with the caption, "For everyone I hurt, including myself." The post racks up hundreds of thousands of likes in minutes. Comments pour in. Some supportive, others brutal. But Yandy doesn't respond. Doesn't like, doesn't even watch. Instead, she posts a black and white selfie with a single caption. Loyalty has no discount price. Boom. Mic drop. The internet implodes. Fans dissect the shade, compare timelines and resurface old footage to prove their points. Jessica, she claps back with a TikTok dance to Megan Thee Stallion's Not Nice, wearing a crown and a smirk. The war is digital now. But the emotional toll. Very real. Production halts. The reunion date is pushed. Cast members are told to remain off social media until tensions cool, but it's too late. The drama has become bigger than the show. It's leaked into the culture. And in the middle of all this chaos, guess who pops back in the mix? Michelle, yes, the original truth teller herself. She posts a cryptic tweet. "I warned y'all about these fake friendships. No tags, no names, but everyone knows." The shade is unmistakable. And the hype, through the roof. Now fans are begging for her return, convinced she'd be the one to force real accountability. But whether she returns or not, the message is clear. The love and hip-hop throne isn't safe. Not for Jessica. Not for Rasheeda. Not even for Yandy. Because the game has changed. It's no longer about who yells the loudest or throws the best shade. It's about who controls the narrative. And right now, that crown is still up for grabs. As the reunion taping finally resumes, with new rules, new security, and an entirely different seating arrangement, all eyes are on the center couch. Who sits where? Who speaks first? Who walks out? It's no longer just about cast dynamics, it's about survival. And the fans. They're seated, snacks in hand, ready to watch it all go down. Because this isn't just TV, this is warfare in wigs and confessionals. And when the final credits roll, only one thing will matter: who walked out with their legacy intact. Because in love and hip-hop, fame fades, followers turn, but receipts last forever. So buckle up. This ride isn't over. It's only just begun. So now that the wigs have flown, alliances have cracked, And Instagram has exploded with more drama than a season finale of Game of Thrones. We gotta ask, whose side are you really on? Are you riding hard for Yandy, the queen who walked out with tears in her eyes and receipts in her purse? If you're Team Yandy, drop a rise queen in the comments and let the world know that loyalty isn't dead, it's just under attack. Or maybe you believe in Rasheeda's redemption arc. The woman stuck in the eye of the storm, begging for forgiveness while her brand takes hits like it's target practice. If you think Rasheeda deserves another chance, hit that like button and comment forgive but never forget. And let's not forget about Jessica Nomis, Jessica Dime, the storm in stilettos who flipped the whole table and sipped champagne on the ashes. If you're here for unapologetic power moves and queen energy, type crown secured and let her haters choke on that sparkle. But whatever side you're on, don't just scroll past, drop your wildest theories, your boldest predictions, and tell us which receipts you think Yandy is hiding in her vault. Do you think this is the end of the drama, or just the calm before the next messy hurricane? Trust, the reunion is coming, and you will want front row seats when those mics get hot, and those secrets get spilled. So, smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you're the first to catch the fallout, and send this video to your messiest friend who lives for this kind of chaos. Because if you think this was wild, just wait until part 2 hits. This ain't just reality TV anymore, baby. This is war, and we're just getting started.